visit of the Prime Minister of India. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, at the invitation of His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah, is scheduled to visit Brunei, Darussalam during 3rd and 4th September 2024. This will be the first ever bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Brunei. The visit coincides with 40th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Brunei. From Brunei, the Prime Minister will thereafter visit Singapore on 4th and 5th September 2024 at the invitation of Prime Minister His Excellency Mr. Lawrence Wong of Singapore. During the visit, there are several elements of the program, which you will see in the press release that we'll do shortly after this presser. As also, we'll be scheduling a pre-visit briefing by Secretary on this upcoming visit of the Prime Minister. So that was the announcement for me to make. Now I open the floor for questions. Can we start this time, this side? Yes.
सर आपने देखा होगा पाकिस्तान ने वाघा अटारी बॉर्डर पर हुर्रियत नेता सैयद अली शाह गिलानी की फोटो लगाई है उस तरफ. इसको लेके बीएसएफ ने ऑब्जेक्शन रेज किया है. तो क्या डिप्लोमेटिकली भी इस मुद्दे को उठाया गया है? दूसरा, पाकिस्तान ने कल ही बोला है कि एससीओ समिट के लिए प्रधानमंत्री मोदी को इनवाइट किया गया है. क्या वो इनविटेशन आपको मिल चुका है? अगर मिल चुका है तो उसको रिस्पॉन्स आपका क्या है?
Siddhant.
Hi, sir. Siddhant from Beyond. So we saw the conversation between Prime Minister Modi and the US President Biden. But we also saw discrepancies in the readout in terms of a different readout, absence of certain topics in their readout. So if you can just talk about that.
Okay. Abhishek.
Hi, sir. Abhishek from I'm freelancer now. So my question is regarding this recent reports emerging from Bangladesh, where it has been reported by several institutions backed by government also that Indian agencies and Indian government's actions had flooded part of Bangladesh, and there are apparently some dams which were opened, the gates of dams were opened, that resulted in those flooding situations. Do you have anything to say on that, whether it was deliberate or something natural happened in that?
Ghazali?
So, day before yesterday, the Jamaat Islami chief in Bangladesh has spoken to the media and said that he is open to, or the party is open to improve ties with India. So, knowing that the party is accused of fomenting anti-India sentiments there, what is the Indian government's stand over it?
So let me first take these questions, and then Rishabh and others will come back to you. First of all, regarding the invitation from for SCO, yes, we have received an invitation from Pakistan for the Council Heads of State Government meeting that is to happen. We don't have an update on that for you. We'll let you know what the situation is later. The other question which you asked about involving BSF, etc., I have not seen the report, so let me come back to you on this particular matter. Siddhant, regarding your question, yes, we have seen that there have been some comments in that regard regarding your question. Let me tell you, these claims are uninformed, tendentious, and motivated, and betray a total lack of familiarity with the process of how such contacts between leaders are organized and then followed upon. Firstly, press releases issued after conversation between leaders are not like joint statements, where every word is negotiated and mutually agreed upon. Secondly, such press releases are not meant to be comprehensive readouts of such conversations. And finally, it is not unusual for two sides to emphasize different aspects of the same conversation in their respective readouts. The absence of an aspect of one press release or the other is not evidence of its absence in the conversation itself. I'm very much aware of the contents of the conversation between the Prime Minister and the President of the United States, and I can tell you that our press release is an accurate and faithful record of what transpired in the conversation. The subject of Bangladesh, which has been highlighted, as you pointed out, by certain quarters, was very much discussed and discussed substantially by both the leaders. Abhishek, regarding your question regarding some international reports on the flood situation in Bangladesh, let me tell you, we've seen the CNN report on the flood situation in Bangladesh. Its narrative is misleading and suggests that India is somehow responsible for the floods. It is factually not correct and ignores the facts mentioned in the press releases issued by the government of India clarifying the situation. They also have ignored that we have a regular and timely exchange of data and critical information between the two countries through existing joint mechanisms for water resources management. Ghazali, to your question, our present engagement with Bangladesh, you would have seen reports about our High Commissioner making an introductory call on the Chief Advisor. This happened some days back, where he discussed several aspects of our relationship. He also talked about that India would like to continue to work with Bangladesh to fulfill the shared aspirations of peoples of both countries for prosperity, security, and development. High Commissioner had conveyed that our commitment to taking forward the relationship in accordance with our respective national priorities. He stressed on this fact. They also discussed other issues, including safety of Hindus and minorities there. High Commissioner also informed Chief Advisor that the flooding in eastern Bangladesh was caused due to excessive rain. There are other aspects that you've highlighted. We have taken note of that, and hopefully we'll have more engagement on such issues later. We can have more questions. Yeah. So Rishabh, and then.
So good evening, Rishabh from Times Now. So as per the reports from Bangladesh and statement from the Bangladesh Home Affairs Advisor, the diplomatic passports of Sheikh Hasina, the former Prime Minister, and all her members of her cabinet as well as MPs have been now disqualified. So as per passport rules, she can still stay in India for 45 days, out of which over 3-4 weeks are gone. So what's our stand on that, and what's the further course of action, given that there are increasing calls for her deportation to Bangladesh by the present-day government?
My name is Vinita. I work for the Asian Age Deccan Chronicle. Just adding to his question, has the MEA received a formal request for her deportation of Sheikh Hasina?
Okay. Huma?
Sir, I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. The Brazilian foreign minister was here. So I just want to ask if the topic of those 100 Indians stuck at Sampalo airport was taken up with them, and what action is India taking that such an event doesn't happen. Also, just a supplement to that itself, what has happened to the Indians who were stopped in Jamaica because they were similarly there in Jamaica without the documents?
Ishi?
So this is Ayush from ANI. My question is related to Afghanistan. Today our External Affairs Minister also spoke about the strong relation, people-to-people relation. My question is related to the recent development where the new laws published by Taliban stating that, women voices should not be heard in public places. How does New Delhi see such development?
Raghav?
Yeah, this is Raghavendra Varma from ZDF German television. So it's about regarding Indo-German relations. The immigration of Indian workforce to Germany has been becoming part of the Germany's economic cooperation agenda, it seems. And there are several institutions with the help of the German government. They have been training imparting skills which are useful in Germany and in short supply. So, what is the Indian government's view on that? Does it promote it? Has any reservation? And also, if you can summarize the present state of relations between the two countries, both in economic and political sphere.
Okay, so first, Rishabh, to your question, uh, see, we have stated this earlier that the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh came to India at a very short notice for safety reasons. We have nothing further to add on that matter. Also, to answering your question, I think what you asked, what you're asking is lies in the realm of hypothetical issues. So that is where uh, we are on the issue that you raised. Uma, Brazilian foreign minister, was here. You have followed the meeting. He was here for the joint commission meeting, which was chaired by the Brazilian foreign minister and external affairs minister. It was an occasion for them to discuss the entire issues that fall in the domain of bilateral ties and also uh, global ties that we have with Brazil, including their presidency, upcoming presidency of, I mean, their presidency of G20, the G20 summit meeting that is going to take place. We are part of the Troika with them. It was also an occasion for us to discuss IPSA, BRICS, and other partnerships, and are together what all things that we are doing together in the United Nations. As far as the issue of Indians stranded in the international airport in Sao Paulo is concerned, yes, we are aware. Um, I think the figures are not what you've said. There are several Indians, and we also have a consulate in Sao Paulo. The consulate in Sao Paulo is in touch with the Foreign Office representative in the city. They've also sought a meeting with local authorities uh, and ascertaining more details. Let me tell you that contrary to what was reported in some of the uh, in some medium, uh, the Indians there who are there at the airport, they're being taken care of in terms of food, nourishment, etc. We will have more updates on them later, and I shall update you on that. Regarding the question about Indians who were sent back from Jamaica, they went from Dubai. So from Jamaica, they all were sent back to Dubai. We have a large number of people, Indians who reside in the Middle East, including Dubai. I issue to your question, well, on our position on such issues is well known to you. We have said so on several occasions. Raghavendra, India-Germany ties. Well, this is a very special relationship. We have a strategic partnership with Germany. Uh, we have an expansive economic ties with Germany, which has trade, investment, technology. We have large number of Indian students who are choosing Germany for education purposes, and many of the Indian students, or majority of them, go there for masters and doctoral pursuits, uh, mostly focused on science and technology. A lot of Indian professionals are also working now in Germany, and we've seen this trend in the last several years that it has gone up. Today, I think Indian students in Germany uh, form the largest chunk of, or they form the largest cohort of international students in that country. Recently, we also signed in 2022 a mobility partnership agreement with Germany. After that, we've seen an uptick in our relationship, our people-to-people ties. So it it uh, it is something that we welcome, and we want this partnership to grow. We want the mobility partnership to be a uh, facilitating our people to people exchanges, our business partnerships, our economic partnerships. I would also like to tell you that Germany and India together, we are doing several things on skilling, on vocational education. German companies here are very active on that, and there are several complementarities which bring us together. And we hope that this mobility partnership and the strategic partnership that we have will continue to enhance and deepen our engagement with Germany. Okay, Yeshi and then Suhasini.
This is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. I would like to know, there are many projects, bilateral projects between India and Bangladesh. What is the status of all of them? A lot of people had come from Bangladesh back into India, have they gone back? And was the Indian High Commission and the additional High Commissions in Bangladesh, 4 additional High Commissions, were they given extra enhanced security when the turmoil was at its peak? There are reports which said that the army had pitched in to protect them. If you could elaborate.
This is Suhasini Heather from The Hindu. Since the statement was made after Prime Minister Modi left Kiev, and this is the first briefing since then, I wanted to clarify India's position. At a press meeting in Kiev last Friday, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said 4 things. He said that India must end its oil imports from Russia now, that India cannot host a summit for the peace if it did not, the second summit in November, if it did not sign on to the declaration for the first, that if India wants to end the war, it must change its attitude towards Russia. And that 4, that India should coordinate its votes at the UN with Ukraine before abstaining, and Ukraine is not happy with this. I'd like your response to those statements made by Mr. Zelensky, and whether India is now considering a change in its policies on all these 4 issues. And just one follow-up, if I may, on the question on the SCO. Given that no Indian minister has traveled to Pakistan for the SAARC summit since 2016, will India participate in the heads of government meeting of the SCO in Pakistan at all?
Okay. Sudhi and then.
So, Shruti Ranjan from Bloomberg, sir. In adding on to Swasini's question, so can you confirm or deny whether President Zelensky asked whether President Zelensky had, during his meeting with Prime Minister Modi, offered that or proposed that India hold the next peace summit? And if so, what is India's stand on it? Will it go ahead with it?
Okay. Manish.
Manish Chand, the India Rights Network. So there is speculation about a potential Quad summit on the sidelines of the UNG in New York in September. Is that true? Are we working towards that? And number 2, the interim government in Bangladesh lifted the ban on Jamaat-e-Islami, which is known for its vociferous anti-India rhetoric and all that. What is your sense? Has anti-India activity lessened? What is your reaction to the withdrawal of the ban on Jamaat? Thank you.
Padma Rao, a freelance foreign correspondent, sir. India's National Security Advisor, Mr. Doval, called on the Sri Lankan president this morning, and he discussed economic collaboration, and there was also a Colombo Security Conclave on. We have very few details, sir, if you could elaborate on what took place at the Security Conclave, especially in light of the fact that elections are due in Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Okay. So let me take, we have got 5 here lined up. Yeshi, regarding bilateral projects. Yes, because of the turmoil in Bangladesh, projects have been impacted. Let me tell you that our development cooperation activities with Bangladesh are aimed at the welfare of the people of Bangladesh. You would have seen that the Prime Minister in his Independence Day speech as well had stated that India will always be a well-wisher of Bangladesh in its development journey. Work on some of the projects, as I told you, has stalled because of has been affected because of the law and order situation there. Once the situation stabilizes, normalcy is restored, then we will we will engage in consultations with the interim government about our development initiatives, and then see how best to take those forward and what sort of understanding we can reach on them. The other thing regarding security, yes, security during the turmoil, you saw it was a problem not just for us but for everybody. You saw what happened to the Indian Cultural Center. It was in news all over. Yes, the Bangladesh authorities, they tried their best for our security, and hopefully we also had people who came back They had to the essential non-essential staff had to come back. Some of the family members had to come back for the reasons of the turmoil. Hopefully, normalcy returns soon, that we can begin our engagement in the right earnest. Suhasini, regarding your question on issues raised in his remarks to the media, look, our point of view is that the Ukrainian side, they have their perspective on various issues and matters, and they're sharing them with the media. As far as we are concerned, we'll be guided by the bilateral discussions that we've had uh, with them, including on this high-level visit that just concluded, uh, which we believe will pave the way for stronger bilateral ties, apart from facilitating more forward-looking discussions on the possibility of peaceful resolution of the conflict. As far as SEO is concerned, I uh, informed you that yes, we have received the invitation for attending the Heads of Government Summit of SEO from Pakistan, which will be hosted by Pakistan. And on that, as and when we have an update, we'll share them with you. On the question of Sudhi, your question about uh, peace talks, a peace summit that you look, our point here is we have always advocated constructive, solution oriented, and practical engagement with all stakeholders to achieve a negotiated settlement to this conflict. This is evident in our approach, in our outreach to both Russia and Ukraine at the highest level. PM has already indicated India's willingness to play a constructive role in the interest of peace. However, it is too early to comment on specific modalities and pathways at this stage. The decision to when and how to commence peace talks is the prerogative of the two parties to the conflict. As friends and partners, we would support any feasible and mutually acceptable solution or format that could restore peace. So that is our stand on the question that you raised. Uh, Manish, regarding Quad Summit, I don't have an update for you. You know, we have said this before, on such matters, such visits, such important meetings, we, as and when we have an update, we inform you. So we will inform you at the appropriate time. Uh, Regarding the other issue that you asked about about Bangladesh, this we see it as an internal issue of Bangladesh. Padma, you are asking a question on which, it is, the meetings are going on. The security conclave in Columbus Security Conclave is on even as we speak. By evening, perhaps we will have an update on it. We'll have a readout, which will help you to understand all that has transpired in the meetings and where we are on this particular aspect. Gautam ji?
Hi. Actually, the first question is then coming back to Bangladesh flood situation. But when the High Commissioner met the Chief Advisor, after that the Chief Advisor's office issued a statement saying Chief Advisor has proposed a new mechanism for controlling flood or data sharing, whatever. A new mechanism is a line of what BSF BGP has. And second is small question that actually the recent the people who went to the visa center, their grievances that India is not issuing visas. Do you think that any time frame or can they expect that you will be issuing visas from Bangladesh?
Okay.
Hello, sir. I'm Shalu from DW Germany. Pardon me, I'm repeating the question that's been asked by my colleagues, but just seeking some clarity on Sheikh Hasina's future. Um, could you confirm or deny if there's been any formal request by the Bangladeshi government, the interior government, for her extradition? And in case of that eventuality, how would India respond?
Okay.
सपना फ्रॉम साधना ग्रुप। सर मेरा सवाल यह है, अभी कुछ दिन पहले फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर और विदेश मंत्री और कई मंत्री, कॉमर्स मिनिस्टर भी सिंगापुर गए थे, और अब प्रधानमंत्री जी का दौरा है सिंगापुर में, तो वहाँ पर इकोनॉमिक कोलैबोरेशन को लेकर बात हुई थी। आगे उसी के बारे में और बात की जाएगी, या फिर और किन मुद्दों पे बातचीत होगी, इसके बारे में अगर आप और एक्सप्लेन कर सकें।
Manish.
सर मैं मनीष झा हूँ, TV9 भारतवर्ष से। प्रधानमंत्री भी बार बार ये कह चुके हैं जब वो कीव गए थे कि मैं यहाँ शांति का संदेश लेकर आया हूँ। अभी भी आपके स्टेटमेंट में वो बात झलक भी रही है कि म्यूचुअली एक्सेप्टेबल सॉल्यूशन भारत चाहता है एज ए फ्रेंड एंड पार्टनर। तो जब हम देखते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री पहले रूस गए, फिर यूक्रेन गए, फिर प्रेसिडेंट बाइडेन से बात कर रहे हैं, फिर पुतिन को ब्रीफ कर रहे हैं, तो क्या हम ऑफिशियली ये कह सकते हैं कि इंडिया मीडिएशन कर रहा है भारत, रूस और यूक्रेन के वॉर को खत्म कराने में?
Hi, sir. Abhishek again. Sir, I have a question regarding US Ambassador Eric Garcetti. There have been media reports in USA that have alleged that the investigation have alleged that Eric Garcetti had ignored complaints of sexual misconduct by one of his close colleagues in the past, and probably that was one of the reasons why why the position in India was vacant for 2 years. And there are also reports that he has probably lied under oath. Have you are you aware of these reports, and do you have any thing to say on that?
इसकी बात कर ले, इसी मुद्दे पे इसकी बात कर लेते हैं। Gautam ji, on your question, see, on water sharing, on water resources management, flood management, etc., there are established procedures between India and Bangladesh, and for several years now, we have 54 rivers that we share, and this mechanism and institutional mechanisms that we have has been in existence for quite some time. As part of the established procedure, we have been exchanging data on timely and regular basis with Bangladesh. On the question of flood in eastern Bangladesh and floods in Tripura, you would have seen that we had released 2 press releases giving the factual position as to why they have happened. Flooding in eastern Tripura and eastern Bangladesh happened essentially because of incessant and excessive rain. And thereafter, we've explained in the 2 press releases exactly what was the situation. So, these mechanisms to help both countries deal with flood issues and water management issues are there. And if there are any new mechanisms that can help further in controlling or helping the sufferings of the people or helping deal with its natural disasters, I think this is something that our teams, or this is a matter that we can take forward with Bangladesh. On the issue of visa, we are issuing visas in a limited manner for medical and emergency purposes. Once the situation becomes normal, law and order is restored, then we will begin our full-fledged operations of visa. So that is where we are on the visa issue. On your question from our friend from DW, this particular question I had answered when we had the last presser also on 16th of August. What you are actually asking is something which, in our understanding, lies in the domain of hypothetical sphere. In fact, it is not our practice to answer hypothetical questions. So I'll keep it at that. On the Singapore visit, Sapna, हम लोगों ने एक प्रेस विज्ञप्ति भी जारी किया था। हमारे 4 मंत्री वहाँ गए थे। जो दूसरा राउंड टेबल था इंडिया सिंगापुर मिनिस्ट्रियल राउंड टेबल, पहला राउंड टेबल 2022 में हुआ, अभी दूसरा राउंड टेबल 2024 में भी कुछ दिन पहले हुआ। 4 मंत्री हमारे यहाँ से गए, वित्त मंत्री मैडम निर्मला सीतारमन, हमारे विदेश मंत्री, वाणिज्य मंत्री पीयूष गोयल साहब, और हमारे रेलवे और इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, इंफॉर्मेशन ब्रॉडकास्टिंग और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी के जो मंत्री हैं श्री अश्विनी वैष्णव, ये भी सिंगापुर गए। चारों लोग वहाँ गए। विस्तार में बातचीत हुई उनके साथ। सिंगापुर और भारत के रिश्ते जो हैं बहुत गहरे हैं, खासकर जहाँ तक ट्रेड का सवाल हो, आर्थिक मामलों का सवाल हो, टेक्नोलॉजी का सवाल हो, डिजिटलाइजेशन का सवाल हो। और इनकी बातें 4 हुरियों पे हुई। डिजिटलाइजेशन, स्किल्स डेवलपमेंट, जिस पर हमारे यहाँ काफ़ी आजकल फोकस है, सस्टेनेबिलिटी पे, हेल्थ केयर पे, मेडिसिन पे, और इसके अलावे ये भी तय किया गया कि 2 नए क्षेत्र में हम लोग ISMR, जो हमारा राउंड टेबल है, मिनिस्ट्रियल राउंड टेबल है, इसमें 2 नए क्षेत्र को हम लोग लाएंगे। और वो 2 नए क्षेत्र हैं कि एडवांस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और दूसरा कनेक्टिविटी। तो ये 2 नए पिलर्स को, 2 नए विषय को जोड़ा गया है। तो ये रहा मोटा मोटा जो सिंगापुर के साथ हमारी बातचीत हुई। और इससे हमारे इस जो मिनिस्ट्रियल राउंड टेबल हुआ है, इससे हमारे रिश्ते गहरे हुए हैं, मजबूत हुए हैं। और अभी भारत के प्रधानमंत्री का वहाँ दौरा है। इस दौरे में भी जो ये बातचीत हुई, उससे मिलजुल कर आगे क्या कर सकते हैं, कैसे हम अपने रिश्तों को और बेहतर कर सकते हैं, इस पर बातचीत होगी। मनीष, अपने जब यूक्रेन में हमारे प्रधानमंत्री वहाँ गए, उसके बाद हम लोगों ने एक उनकी जो उन्होंने जो कहा, जिसको पब्लिक में भी अवेलेबल है, उसमें आपने देखा होगा कि किन बिंदुओं पर उन्होंने अपनी बात रखी और किन चीज़ों पर उन्होंने उसको एम्फेसाइज किया। और उसमें उन्होंने बड़ा साफ कहा है कि भारत एक दोस्त के नाते, यूक्रेन के दोस्त के नाते, अगर कोई सक्रिय भूमिका निभा सकता है, योगदान दे सकता है शांति के लिए, तो उसके लिए तैयार है। तो यही हमारी बात, मैं जो प्रधानमंत्री ने अपनी वक्तव्य में जो अपनी बात कही, उसको मैं दोहराना चाहूंगा आपके लिए। अभिषेक, your question, I think this is a question that you must take to the American side, to the US Embassy. They would be in a better position to answer your question. जयप्रकाश।
सर, मैं जयप्रकाश हूँ दैनिक जागरण से। मेरा बांग्लादेश को लेकर सवाल है कि सर अभी आपने बताया कि हमारे प्रोजेक्ट वहाँ पे डिस्टर्ब हुए हैं, तो हमारे जो फ्रेंडशिप पाइपलाइन प्रोजेक्ट है और जो पावर सप्लाई है, उस पर क्या इम्पैक्ट आया है?
Sir, I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. I just want to know, since the last 2-3 years, the CII is holding a summit with Africa. When is the India-Africa summit actually going to happen? Because what CII does is industry-based.
Hello?
So, Kalol Bhattacharya from The Hindu. In the backdrop of the floods in Bangladesh, lots of countries like China, the Gulf countries are rushing assistance and financial aid to Bangladesh. I wanted to know, India, which has a history of helping countries that are hit by natural disasters, be it Turkey or Nepal, why hasn't India reached out so far? Or has there been a dialogue between India and Bangladesh on this matter so far in the last 1 week?
Okay.
Sir, Divya from Indian Express. We see that Kerala Chief Minister has again written to the External Affairs Minister on the issue of Indians stuck in the Russian army. He's named 4 people and also given their location. So what is the movement and status on that?
जो प्रकाश जी, जो हमारे वहाँ पर जो डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट चल रहे हैं बांग्लादेश में, तो जो वहाँ पर अभी स्थिति है उसके कारण वो स्थगित हो गए, क्योंकि कुछ लोग जो वहाँ थे, बहुत सारे डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट में काम कर रहे थे, वो उनको वापस आना पड़ा, और कई एक और कारण से ये रुक गए हैं। तो एक बार जब स्थिति ऐसी होगी, जब बेहतर होगा स्थिति, वहाँ पर जो कानून व्यवस्था बहाल हो जाएगा, फिर देखेंगे, उनके सरकार से बात करेंगे कि इसको कैसे फिर से आगे ले जाया जाए। तो ये है स्थिति अभी जो है। मैं सभी प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ कि जो प्रोजेक्ट हैं अभी वहाँ जो हालात हैं उसके कारण जो बदलाव आया है, जो कानून व्यवस्था वहाँ बिगड़ गई थी, उसके कारण उस पे सब पे असर पड़ा है। तो एक बार स्थिति नियंत्रण में आ जाएगा, उसके बाद देखेंगे हम लोग कैसे इनको बेहतर कर सकते हैं। Huma, we recently had the CII India Africa Summit. This is a very important business platform for our engagement with Africa. This was the 19th meeting. I know with Africa we have very special and very historic partnership. This particular conclave, which was held a few days back, was inaugurated by Vice President, Honorable Vice President, and we also had participation of 6 Vice Presidents from different countries in Africa. Let me list out which all countries were there. We had Vice Presidents from 6 countries: Burundi, Guinea Equatorial, Gambia, Liberia, Mauritius, and Zimbabwe. In addition, we also had 40 ministerial participation from Africa. In all, there were 65 countries. So India, all the African countries. In addition, we also had several other countries who participated in this business conclave. Some 1,200 delegates were there. So it was a big exercise. And over the years, such business engagements have been strengthening and deepening our ties with Africa. On the question of India-Africa Forum Summit, we've had some conversations with this on this particular front with African Union, including very recently. We will. So far, we don't have an update for you as to when we will have this summit, but we are in talks with the African Union to see when we can schedule it. Kalol, to your question, I said that our High Commissioner there is in touch with the local government, and he also had a meeting chance to call on the Chief Advisor where they discussed all issues of interest. So that is where I would leave your question answer. That is where I will leave my answer. Divya, Russian Army, we have an update. As of now, as of today, we have 15 Indians who've been released and they have returned to India. There are others who are waiting for discharge. Our mission, our embassy is in touch with the Russian authorities, both on the foreign office side, the defense side, and we hope that our people, those who want to return back to India, will be released soon. 15. 15. So with that, if we have no more, oh, there's a question. Ajay?
Sir, Ajay Banerjee from the Tribune. Jaiswal sir, do we understand that we will allow Ukraine and Russia to have bilateral decision on the peace process, or will we intervene or make an intervention? What would be the level at when we arrive at the benchmark of making an intervention?
So Ajay, see, on the question of the conflict, we had the Prime Minister, when he went to Ukraine, he spoke about our approach. That approach is available in the public domain. After our discussions, our External Affairs Minister had a press conference there where he explained our position. Again, today I have repeated what is our position on this particular conflict. So Ajay, I would urge you that please refer to all that we have had said on this. There's nothing new to add. And in fact, answering several questions from the left, I had highlighted our approach. That is where it remains. So if we don't have any more questions, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We will have a special briefing on the upcoming visit of the Prime Minister to Brunei and Singapore. Please do join us. This should happen on Monday. Thank you very much. Enjoy and have a good weekend.